Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 12th class of this improvement English course. Can you hear me?
Yes, teacher, perfectly.
Okay,
Greatly.
Yes, teacher, yes, we can hear you.
good evening. Well, perfect. So, guys, it's already 9:02, so let's begin. I think that we have our presenters of the night, which are Nehemiah and Giovanni. So, who is going to be the first one?
Well, according to the order, I'm the first one.
You're the first one. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
do you want to wait 1 or 2 more minutes for your fellow
Yes, teacher.
partners?
Yes, of course. Yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
Yes, let's wait for some of our classmates to log in, of course, because we have here just 4 people. Let's wait a couple more minutes.
Okay. So we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
give
agree.
them 10
I
more minutes.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Teacher, Nehemiah is a gentleman, a lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yes. We must clean our classmates, of course.
Okay, Nehemiah's time is up. Let's begin. Let's begin.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me give you
Okay.
access so you can share
Yes,
your
please.
screen. They warned us that today was a holiday, so some people wouldn't be able to be here, so that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, what is happening here? Yes. Could you please, Nehemiah's log out and log in again? Because,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what it's saying. It's not allowing me to turn you to a presenter.
Oh.
I don't know why this happened the other night. This happening again. I don't know why.
Again. Okay.
It's not allowing me to. If you want, are you able to send me your presentation?
Oh yeah. 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 To the WhatsApp group, teacher.
Uh, if you can, you can send it
Okay.
directly to my email.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna put my email here again. The
Okay.
WhatsApp group. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, is it already there?
Okay. Give me a second.
Teacher, if you don't mind, I can begin because you have money.
Yes, yes. We can also. Let me. Okay.
So we give time to Nehemiah to
Yeah, we can also
catch,
do that.
catch
So,
some.
Nehemiah, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, teacher. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
trying to send the.
If you don't
Ah.
mind,
Okay.
if you don't mind, we're going to start with Giovanni because I already have his
Okay.
presentation.
Okay. 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 Don't worry. Okay.
While
Yes.
you
Okay. Let's do
send
it.
yours. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So let's start with Giovanni. He has two interesting topics: one-ones and indirect questions. So, can you see my screen there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
Giovanni, you're good to go.
Yes, sir. So go ahead. Okay. Indirect questions. Okay. Our topic tonight is indirect questions, and I would like if you don't mind, go ahead with another. Okay. We normally use indirect questions when we want to be more polite. We begin the question with expressions such as, can you tell me? Could you tell me? Do you know? Or would you mind telling me? Uh, in the presentation, uh, in the questions, we have two kind of questions: direct questions and indirect questions. I know that everybody knows in this course the direct questions that begin with who do you who do you call? What time is it? Uh, what time will he come? Are direct questions, but indirect questions are more polite. For example, direct question: what time is it? And indirect question is: could you tell me what time is it is? Eh? It's important that my classmates check the indirect question. We present the sentence in different situation and the direct question. The subject is first. Could you tell me what time is it is? Different direct question that is what time is it? What happened? Go ahead, teacher.
Okay.
Okay, I have some examples here. In indirect questions, the order is subject plus verb. Do you know where I can find a bank? You see? Do you know where I can find a bank? This is an indirect question. Can you tell me what time the shop closed? Can you tell me what time the shops close? You see? It's important to check this. The order in the indirect question. That is that if we're speaking with the person directly, do you know where I can find a bank? See? Can you tell me what time the shops close? Hmm. This is different. An indirect question. If were in the direct question, the question would be, do you know uh, where can I find a bank? You see, different. In the indirect question, I say, do you know where I can find a bank? Hmm? Can you tell me what time the shops close? This is there is an indirect question, but the sentence is indirect. Please, teacher, go ahead. Other example. These are some other common expressions used before indirect questions. This is important that my classmates check this expression that are used with indirect questions. I don't know. I wonder. I'm not sure. I would like to know. You see, I don't know what he's doing here. What he's doing is. I wonder when he will find the truth. I'm not sure when I can come. I would like to know where you left the documents. You see, it's important that with this expression, I don't know, I wonder, I'm not sure, I would like to know, we use uh, indirect questions. Uh, it's very important that I don't know what is he doing. I don't know where my classmates where are my classmates now. Where my classmates are now. This is an indirect question. I wonder when I will get money. I wonder when I will get the money. Or I get some money or extra money. I'm not sure when I can come. And I would like to know where you left the document. You see, where you left the document is the expression, direct. But the first ones I would like to know is the make the indirect question. Please, teacher, go ahead. Okay. The last one is the situation for yes or no question. When there is no question word, we can use both if or whether. This both has the same meaning, if or whether. Do you know if he'll be here soon? Or do you know whether he'll be here soon? So I can check, uh, I review, there is an expression that go together with the indirect question, like they are, I don't know, I wonder, I'm not sure, I would like to know, E plus if or whether. Okay, go ahead, teacher. Okay, okay, this is will be would be to the beginning, but it's at the last. There is the two type of question: direct question and the indirect question. You, you can check. Could you tell me who you called? Do you know what time it is? I am wondering if he will come. I don't know whether he will come. I would like to know if he will come. Indirect question. And direct question is, who do you call? Who? What time is it? What time will he come? Who do you call? Okay? It's important to emphasize that American people use mostly indirect question in the common language. Okay. Okay. Direct topics is one and ones. It's a short topic, but it's very important. We use one in singular and ones in plural after an adjective. For example, see those two girls. Ellen is the tall one and Jane is the short one. You see? We do not repeat. We don't say Helen is the tall one is Helen and the short is Jane. No, no. It's more easy to say, see those two girls. Helen is the tall one. The tall one. This is Helen. And Jane is the short one. Which is your car? The red one or the blue one? Is a question. And I answer. Mine is the blue one, for example. Mine is the red one. My trousers are torn. I use some new ones in plural. Because in English, trousers is a plural name all the time. Different than in Spanish. My trousers are torn. I need some new ones. Okay? This is very simple, but it's very, very important because it's very common in speaking language every day to speak in this way. I prefer the large one. I would like the big one. For example, when we were in a shop, in a restaurant, okay, we use this kind of expression. Which one do you want? I want the red one, the black one, or the one in the black one, the black in the blue shirt. Hmm? Okay, thank you, teacher. Okay, after that, see those two girls? Helen is the one on the left. You see? He's the one on the left. Let's look at the photographs. The ones you took in Paris. That means the photos that he took in Paris. And my trousers are torn. I need some new one, but this is important. See those two girls? Between two girls. Helen is the one on the left. and it is the one on the left.
Dog.
Hmm? Let's look at the photographs. The ones you took in Paris. It's speaking about the photograph he took in Paris. A group of photos. My trousers are torn. I need some new ones. Okay. I think that when the teacher present the exercise will be more clarity. After which any questions. You can borrow a book. Which one do you want? Which ones are yours? Hmm? You can borrow a book. Okay. You can borrow a book. Which one do you want? There is a group of books. Okay. A group of novels. So I ask, which one do you want? Which one are yours? Hmm? Okay. So this is very important to understand this expression. Which one? Which ones? Hmm? You can borrow a book. Which one do you want? Which? In a group of books. Or which ones are yours? Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Do you have any questions for Giovanni about this? Okay, if you don't have any questions. So to sum up, as always, basically direct questions and indirect questions is a matter of being polite or being more polite. So normally Americans ask questions, as Giovanni said, in indirect form because where are you from can come across as a little bit too direct, like you are asking in an informal or powerful way to someone, where are you from? So that implies something for them. So they normally ask questions as we do in Spanish. Could you please tell me where is the bank? We use indirect questions. I use a lot of indirect questions, especially when I am in the street and I don't know who I'm talking to. So it's the same thing. It's about being polite. That is the first one. The second thing to remember is the common expressions that we use for indirect questions. Can you, could you, would you? And third is to remember that little switch in the structure. So normal direct questions, which are the ones that we normally learn at the beginning when we are learning English. Something to reconsider maybe. So normally we see here the structure, which is verb subject. When we are making indirect questions, well, we switch that. We have subject verb. Is almost like if the question changes from being a question to being an answer, but it still have that sounding of a question at the end. Okay, the sounding of a question at the end. So that's basically it. In the case of one and ones, well, one for singular, ones for plural. We use one and ones to replace a noun to to avoid being repetitive in a sentence. And remember, we normally have first the adjective and then we have one. So, for example, is green one, blue one, no one green or one blue. Okay, don't forget that because in your test they give you both options. They give you green one, for example, and one green. So remember the rule. You have to place first the adjective and then one. Okay, because the one is replacing the noun, but the adjective is describing the noun. So you need to know the description of the object before you're stating that you want one, right? Otherwise, no one is going to know what are you talking about. So with that being said, let's give now the space and the time to Nehemiah. So give me 1 sec, Nehemiah, to download your presentation.
Okay, yes,
I
teacher.
have it here in my Gmail. Okay. Mhm. Okay, so can you see my screen there?
Yes.
Okay, so the time is yours now.
Okay, perfect. Yes, good evening. Good evening, everybody. A huge honor and a huge pleasure once again to share with all of you this another grammatical part. Today we're going to work with tag questions. Tag questions, it's not a difficult topic, it's not a difficult grammatical part. I think it'll be a piece of cake for all of us, especially because I brought to you some really good information for you to understand or to reinforce something about to this marvelous and important topic, tag questions. Tag questions. Could you please, teacher, move on to the next PowerPoint slide? Okay, thank you very much. So here we are, the grammar explanation. I'm going to share with all of you two descriptions, two informations about tag questions. The first one is we use tag questions to confirm information you already think is true, or to encourage someone to make small talk with you. That's the first description. The second one is we often use questions tags where we expect the listener to agree with our statement. For example, is how to say in Spanish, tú eres liceísta, ¿verdad? Is what we're going to talk about today. For example, to make the statements and to make the tag as well. As I told you a few minutes ago in Spanish, is what we're going to work tonight. So, teacher, could you please the next one? Tag question structure. So I want you to pay attention. I want you to be focused in this tag question structure because it will help you. It will help me a lot to distinguish or to make good statements with tag questions. A tag question has two parts. The first one is the statement, the main sentence. The second one is the tag, a short question at the end. The structure depends on the statement. If the statement is positive, the tag is negative. So pay attention to these two important explanation information. If the statement is positive, the tag is negative. Example, you are a student, aren't you? So the statement, the main sentence is affirmative. So that's the reason, according to the explanation, according to the grammar rule, the tag question is going to be negative, like this example, aren't you? If the statement is negative, the tag is affirmative. It's the opposite side. So, example, she isn't coming, is she? So, the main sentence is in negative way, negative form. She isn't coming, so the tag question is affirmative, is she, according to the rule. So, remember, guys, if the statement is positive, the tag is negative. Or if the statement is negative, the tag is affirmative. Teacher? Okay. How to form tag questions. Okay, we know that we can make affirmative statements or negative statements, so it will depend on the tag question will depend on if the statement is affirmative or negative. So how to form the tag questions? Number one, identify the auxiliary or modal verb in the statement. Is, are, was, were, auxiliary do, does in simple present tense, did, auxiliary in simple past, have, has, can, will, etc. So you should identify the auxiliary in these occasions when you're going to form the tag question. Step number two, guys, repeat the auxiliary or modal verb in the tag. So it's something that is important to take into consideration. Repeat the auxiliary or modal verb in the tag. Step number three, use the opposite form. If the statement is positive, the tag is negative, and vice versa. So it's the key point here, especially if you want to form a good tag questions or identify what verbs you're going to use or what tag you're going to use according to the step. So and the last one is step number 4, guys. Match the subject. Use the same subject in the tag. So we have already seen the 4 steps in order to form tag questions. Teacher, the next PowerPoint slide. Okay, tag question examples. Okay, point number 1. So I want you to be focused in this part. So positive statement plus negative tag. It's hot today, isn't it? You can swim, can't you? Step number 2 or point number 2, negative statement plus positive tag. He doesn't like coffee, does he? They aren't ready, are they? So these are the examples. Next one, please. Okay, tag questions. Examples in detail. Well, once again, more examples. Well, in order to reinforce what we're learning in this grammar part. So positive statement with auxiliary. So pay attention. Positive statement with auxiliary modal verb. She's a teacher, isn't she? You have finished, haven't you? Negative statement with auxiliary modal verb. He isn't tired, is he? They won't go. Will they? Next, please, teacher. Okay, tag questions, more examples in details. So, positive statements without auxiliary modal verb. So pay attention to this part. For simple present and past tenses with auxiliary verbs, use do or did. For example, I'm going to show you right now 2 statements. We don't have an auxiliary, but in this case, you should identify the tense of the statements, if they are in simple present or if they are in simple past. You like pizza, don't you? You like pizza. This structure is in simple present. But okay, we don't have any auxiliaries in these statements, but according to the structure, you can identify there is a simple present tense. So that's the reason in this case will be or it's going to be don't you. Don't you. He went to a school, didn't he? He went to school, didn't he? So this statement, he went to school, is in simple past. So that's the reason the tag question is negative, but in especially with the auxiliary in negative way, negative form. So negative statements without auxiliary modal verb. She doesn't play tennis, does she? They didn't see the movie, did she? And everything's okay there? Any comments about this one? They didn't see the movie, did she? Everything's okay? No, this is a little tricky. For example, because we have here, they didn't see the movie. Did she? No, it's not correct. It's did they? But I did it. I did it on purpose, you know? Of course. It's did they? Did they? Okay, teacher, the next one, please. Okay, special cases. Special cases. Pay attention because in this grammar, it's not difficult, as I told you at the beginning of this explanation, but this grammar has several special cases that tends to be a little confused for teachers, for students, for English beginners, for everybody. In this case, with I am, use aren't I for negative tag questions after I am. Example, I'm on time, aren't I? But in a negative statement with the verb to be, I'm not late. So the tag question will be affirmative, but am I? Am I? I cannot say am I not I. No, am I? So the most important part here to take into consideration is when the affirmative statement is affirmative with the verb to be with the first person. So the tag question will be negative. Aren't I? That's a special case. So step number 2: use pronouns. Use pronouns, not name or other nouns, in tag questions. For example, Bangkok is in Thailand. Isn't it? Isn't it? So Bangkok, there is a street, has been substituted by the personal subject it. Do not make that mistake. Isn't Bangkok? No, because it's totally wrong. So you can't do that. The next one, teacher. Okay. 3. With imperatives, commands and requests. Imperative sentences, commands or requests start with verbs and not include a subject. If you want to add a tag question to an imperative, use either will or would instead of the main verb. So this is a really important information for us because especially with these kinds of statements or phrases, especially with imperatives that includes commands or requests, so we can make a tag question. But especially with will or would. Examples: positive command. Close the door, won't you? You see, because we don't have here any subject. You have here just here a command. Close the door, won't you? Negative command. Hey, don't be late, will you? Don't be late, will you? So we can use either will or would, especially with these statements, commands and requests. The last part, teacher. Okay, let's go, guys. Practice time. Just I'm gonna give it a couple of. This is a mini test, a multiple choice test. So I need volunteers, any volunteers to complete this practice time. So who's going to be the first one? The first one. Who's going to be the first one? For example, she speaks Chinese. What could be the right one? The right tag question. Antonietta. Letter A, B, or C, brother?
A, isn't she? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
A, isn't she?
Isn't she? No. In this case,
No.
it's not. Isn't she?
No, does she? Does she?
No. In this case, it's letter C. Antonietta. Why?
Doesn't she?
Because-
Yeah, because it's the third person.
Exactly. It's the third person, and this statement is in simple present tense. Even though we don't have any auxiliaries there, but you need, or we need to identify if the statement is in simple present tense, or is in simple past, or is in future, and so on. When the statement is in simple present tense, like this, just Chinese, we're going to use the auxiliary doesn't, but in this case in a negative way. Doesn't she? Okay, but don't worry about it, because when we miss it, we can learn very well as well, right? Okay, number 2. There isn't any sugar, any volunteer, any other volunteer for completing this, A, B, or C. So, Fausti, Burgess, yes, there isn't any sugar, letter A, B, or C. Fausti?
Hello.
Yes, good
The
evening.
letter A.
The letter A. The letter A.
A. Yes.
The letter A. Any other person? Let's see, any other, let me give another chance to another person. It's not the letter A, no.
Then the letter C.
It's the letter C. Yes, of course, none of the above. Why? Because there isn't any security. Exactly, the main structure is there isn't. So the tag question is going to be affirmative. Is there? There isn't any sugar. Is there? So that's the reason. It's not letter A, it's not letter B, so the right one according to these statements is letter C, none of the above. Okay, number 3, any other volunteer? It's been a great day. It's been a great day. So remember, it's been a great day. You should identify, well, that sentence is in simple present, simple past, present perfect, past perfect. So you need to distinguish for you to get the right choice. So, any volunteers? Any other volunteer? Oh, Giovanni, my brother Giovanni. Letter A, B, C, or D?
For me, it's B. Ability.
How did it? No. No. Because especially the structure, let me help you with this. The structure is in present perfect. So it is the contraction. The letter for it has been a great day. So that's the reason it's not having a it. Because remember, we use haven't with the pronouns I, you, we, and they. So let's
Okay.
see.
Hasn't it? Hasn't it?
Hasn't it? Exactly. Very good. Giovanni, letter C. It's been a great day. Hasn't it? Hasn't it? Exactly. So the last one, he wasn't driving. My brother Othniel, he wasn't driving. Letter A, B, or C, Othniel.
Okay, was he?
Was he? Exactly. That's right. Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you very much, guys. So it was a practice time. So we need, even though this grammar part is not difficult, we should keep in touch with this grammar part because it tends to be a little confusing in some occasions. Do not forget, guys. Practice makes perfect. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.
Okay, very well. I enjoyed that really. Seeing those exercises, they were really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Thank you for your presentation, Mayans. Very well. So, do you
My
have
pleasure.
any questions for Nehemiah? Giovanni, do you have a question for Nehemiah?
Sir. No, sir, no.
Okay,
Of
your
course not.
hand was
It's
raised.
perfect. The presentation was perfect. Wasn't
Okay.
it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yes.
Yes, very good applying the talk question. Yes.
Yeah. So you should pay close attention to those sentences in present simple, especially those that doesn't have, those that don't have the verb to be, because we have present simple with the verb to be and without the verb to be. So like the first practice he was that he showed to you here, she speaks Chinese, because this could be difficult at the beginning if you don't remember quickly that this is in present simple and the auxiliary of present simple is do or does. So even though it's not there, it is his or its auxiliary in this case. The same thing goes with past tense sentences where you won't have, if it's in the affirmative, did, but you know that that is the auxiliary of that type of questions and that you need to use didn't with the proper pronoun as a tag question. So don't forget that. And this was good. This was a good example because we need to be able to identify quickly what is the tense of a sentence. So as soon as I saw this one here, been, I know this is past participle. I know that this is has. Okay, that this is has, because this is past participle and this kind of a structure only belong to present perfect tense. Okay, so we need to have that clear in our minds. Tell me, Giovanni.
No, no, excuse me. It's okay, Lucy.
Okay, your hand was raised again.
No, no, no.
So that's basically it. In your test, you have like two questions of question tags. They're pretty simple. They're pretty simple. There is one with present simple. That is why I was telling you to pay close attention to that, because you have one, if I remember correctly, you have one with present simple where the question tag is don't something or doesn't something. So the auxiliary is not in the affirmative sentence because of what I've just told you before, that in the case of present simple in the affirmative, we don't use do or does unless we are trying to make an emphasis, which is something that we not usually see in tests, but we see in writing and in movies and in formal speech. Like I do like eating pizza, or she does like going to the movies. That is a specific, there isn't a specific reason to do that kind of structures, but they're not common in tests, in English level tests. So you don't have to worry about that. before, so let's do it like that. I'm gonna send you another link because you already did one exercise here, one practice. I'm gonna send you a link with some exercises with tag questions. Okay, so after you finish that exercise, I will teach the other topic, which are common expressions and verbs followed by a gerund. Okay, specifically the ones that you may find in your test. So give me 1 second to send you the link. Okay, there you go. You have 10 minutes to finish. It's 9:47 until 9:57, okay? As soon as you finish, remember to send your score to the WhatsApp group. Easy peasy piece of cake. So, okay, guys, time's up. So, the majority of you had a good score. Remember, the aim is 10 out of 10. Okay? 10 out of 10. And practice, as Nehemiah said before, makes perfect. So, now I'm going to quickly go over a simple topic. Well, it's not a simple topic, it's a broad topic, it's a large topic. Because we are going to address common expressions that are followed by a gerund. Remember that a gerund is a verb that could be a noun. We turn a verb into a noun, right? We have also the present participle, which is when we have a verb ending in ing and turns into an adjective, that we also saw that. But tonight we're going to explore common expressions that ends in ing and common verbs that end in ing or that are followed by an ing form of another verb. This is a broad topic because we have a long list of expressions. And in some cases, these expressions can be used with both tenses. You could have it with infinitive form, or you could have it with a gerund form. Sometimes you can only use one of the forms. The same thing goes with the verbs. You have verbs like that you can have it with an infinitive form or followed by a gerund. And you have other verbs that are only followed by a gerund, like the case of enjoy. Sometimes when you use one of these verbs with an infinitive form or with a gerund, the meaning changes. So you have different meaning for each. But we won't go into all of those details because for the purpose of this course, which is the test, we don't need to go over that. That would be like too much. I'm not saying that it's not important. It is important, and you should review that whenever you can. But for the purpose of the test, we are going to focus only in the sentences or the verbs that are used specifically in your test. So we have here a couple of points for you. You can guarantee a couple of points here. Okay, so pay attention to this next practice. So we're gonna do this class with exercises, okay? Let me see if I can. I always have problem with this. We're gonna do this with practice, with exercises. I think it's really good to do it like that. Okay, I couldn't. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask and you're going to raise your hand. You're going to tell me which one do you think is the answer. So the first sentence or questions in this case, the first question in this case is, would you mind? And you have 4 options: eating, to eat, none. So Nehemiah, tell me, which one do you think is the correct answer?
The first one, the gerund, eating. Would you mind eating?
Would you mind eating? So that's correct. The answer is eating. So normally when we have this expression, would you mind, after the verb mind, we're going to find here a gerund.
Gerund, yes.
Always, okay, always. And you have a question like this in your test, so don't forget. Would you mind is always followed by a gerund. Okay, very well. Number 2, looking forward to blank space you. So we have here 4 options: see, to see, seen, none. Othaniel, tell me, which one do you think is the correct answer?
For me, C, because you are using ing and looking forward.
Okay, so you believe is to see. Okay,
No, just C, because you can use to.
without the two?
Yeah.
Okay. So Othaniel says see. Somebody else have a different opinion about this exercise?
I have a different opinion.
Okay, so let me give a chance to Fausti Verges, Giovanni,
Okay.
and then you will
Okay.
go.
Yes, teacher, is seen with ing.
Okay, so
To
Fausti
see
says seen.
you.
Okay, very well. So Giovanni, what do you think?
No, it's the same. I'm looking forward to seeing.
Okay,
Looking forward to seeing.
very well. So let's see, everyone that had. Okay, Nehemiah, what do you think? Since your hand is raised.
Yes,
too.
it's seeing as well, yes. I agree with my partners, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the correct answer is seen, okay? Normally this expression looking forward to is normally followed by a gerund to. It's more common in English, it's more natural for them. There are some exceptions where you could see looking forward to followed by an infinitive form, but those are exceptions. So you don't need to focus now on exceptions. Focus on what is common. And what is common is to see looking forward to seeing. You might wonder, well, we have to here, which is a preposition that we use with infinitive verbs. But you need to remember, not all the time you see the preposition to, the preposition to is belonging to a verb. Sometimes it belongs to the expressions. In this case, to belongs to forward, looking forward to. So these two comes together with the looking forward, so it doesn't belong to the verb. So don't confuse that. Okay, I know that basically every time we see to is followed by a verb in its base form, but that is only when the to is a preposition that have been added to the sentence structure because it wasn't there. Do you remember when we were talking about ought to, that I explained you that? Have to, need to. In those cases, the to belongs to the need, to the verb need, to belongs to have, and to belongs to ought. So it's not a contradiction of the rule. We don't have there a contradiction of the rule. It's just that to belongs to another verb. It's not interfering with the following verb. So would you mind, followed by a gerund, looking forward to, follow also by a gerund. Okay, let's continue. So here we have the third exercise. Don't start. This is an imperative, okay? Don't start. This is an imperative. And we have for option, don't start to shout, shout, shouting to shouting. Which one do you think is the correct answer? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Nehemias, tell me.
Yes. Teacher, I think, according to this expression, don't start, I think so. We can use both infinitive and gerund. Don't start to shout and don't start shouting.
Okay.
If I think so because I was thinking a lot right now this part. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay, it's okay. Fausti, tell me, do you agree with Nehemias?
Teacher, I disagree.
Okay,
I
Giovanni.
think teacher is don't start to shut.
Okay, don't start to shout.
I think.
Okay, okay, it's okay, it's okay. So Giovanni, tell me your thoughts. What do you think?
Don't start shouting. Don't
Don't,
start shouting.
don't start shouting. Okay,
Yes, ing.
okay, with ing. Okay, so in this case, Nehemias is right. You can use both. You can use don't start
Okay.
to shout and don't
Exactly.
start
Yes.
shouting. But remember something here, and this is important. It's more common in English to use the verb start followed by the gerund than by the infinitive. Although they're possible, both are possible, it's more common, it's more natural to hear Americans say, don't start shouting, than to hear them use don't start to shout. Because when you say don't start to shout, you are talking about the beginning of the action that hasn't started yet, but you are focusing on that. While when you are talking about don't start shouting, you are describing the action, not talking about the beginning of the action, just the action. You're focusing on the action. So it's more common for Americans to use don't start shouting than to use don't start to shout. Again, it's correct. Both are correct. But since don't start shouting is more common, my advice for you is to stick with don't start shouting because it's more common and it's more natural. So I infer that in the test, they are going to take that one before the other one. Okay? Because I think you have both options. Sometimes you will see that it happens in that test that you have more than one option to choose from, and both are correct. So you need to choose the most likely option, which is in this case, don't start shouting. Clear? Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I stick with shouting. Don't start shouting. Very well. All of this is in your test, okay? All of this is in your test. Number 4. Peter is blank space Jane. We have here 3 options. Telling to, telling, tell. Which one do you think is the correct option? Let's see who raised. Okay. Fausti, tell
If you
me.
don't mind,
Telling teacher.
Peter
Peter is telling Jane.
Okay, Peter is telling Jane. Okay, so Fausti says that Peter is telling Jane is the correct answer. Everyone agree?
yes, sir.
No, I'm not.
I think it's Peter is telling to Jane.
Yeah, I'm not agree with this.
Okay, so Nehemiah, some of you think that he's telling to Jane. Interesting. This is interesting. Okay, so let's see. The correct answer is actually what Fausti said. Peter is telling Jane. Why? Why is that the correct answer? Because
I
the verb telling implies that there is an object. So we have two different verbs. We have tell and say. So while tell implies implies that there is already an object or a subject for the verb, or an object to be more specific, we don't need to use a bridge to connect the verb with the subject. In this case, Peter is telling to Jane would be incorrect because the verb tell doesn't need a bridge to connect tell with its object. Okay? In the case of the verb say, we do need to use a bridge because this is more a grammar thing, but tell and say belong to different categories of verbs. So because they belong to different categories of verbs, tell has a different structure than say. And that's the reason why when we use tell, we don't need to use to, because tell implies an object already and doesn't need a bridge or an intermediate to connect the two elements. While in the case of say, we do need to because it doesn't imply who is telling or saying something. Is that understood? Was that clear?
Yes, teacher, very clear.
Okay. So
Yes,
Peter
sir.
is telling Jane is the correct answer. Is telling Jane. Okay. Okay. So here we have exercise number 5. Don't forget blank space the letter before you leave. You have 4 options: to post, posting, to posting, post. Which one do you think is the correct answer? Nehemiah, tell me that you raised your hand.
Yes. Here, don't forget to post the letter before you leave. Yeah.
Okay, so Nehemiah says, don't forget to post. Everyone agree?
No, sir.
Okay, tell me,
I
Giovanni.
think it's don't forget posting the letter before you leave.
Okay. Anyone else have a different opinion? Okay, if no one else have any different opinion, the correct answer is don't forget to post the letter before you
Okay.
leave. Why? Okay, so we have here, let me see if I have it. Okay, we have here the verb forget. So when we use the verb forget for a future reminder, when we use the verb forget for a future reminder, forget is followed by an infinitive form because the action hasn't happened, but you want the person to remember to do something. So here we have an imperative. Don't forget, which means that the action hasn't happened. You are expecting the action to happen, so the person needs to have that in mind. Okay, so that is a future reminder. Don't forget. When we use forget with a gerund, it's because we're recalling something. And we normally use forget in the past tense. I forgot posting. So forget plus infinitive, future reminder. Forgot plus a gerund, something I forgot to do. Okay? If you look closely to this sentence, you will see that this is a future reminder because we have here an imperative. Don't forget to post the letter before you leave. Okay? Number 6. I clearly remember blank space them on the table last night. So let's see if you understood what I just said before. Here you have 4 options. You have leaving, to leaving, live. Which one is the correct answer? Fausti, tell me, which one do you think is the correct answer?
Living teacher with ing.
Okay, so Fausti said, I clearly remember leaving. Okay, very well. Everyone agree? Or do you have...
I disagree.
You
I
disagree?
disagree, teacher.
Okay, tell me, Giovanni, which one do you think is the correct answer then?
I think it's, I clearly remember to leave then on the table last night.
Okay.
Leave. I clearly remember.
Okay, very well. So
To leave.
Giovanni thinks to leave, and Fausti leaving. Anyone else? Different opinion or share the same opinions?
Well, teacher, I share the same opinion of my classmates, but remember, after the verb remember, can be followed either a gerund or infinitive. But in this case, I choose living. I clearly remember living then at the table last night.
Okay. So if you remember what I told you here, something similar happens here with remember. And that is why you need to always look closely to the sentence. Here, look at this. Here you have a past reference. So this is not a future reminder. This is something that already happened. And when you are remembering in the past, you are always going to use a gerund. Because here we have last night. It's not something that you are remembering to do later. It's something that you are remembering that you did. I remember doing that. So when you have remember as a past action, we always use living. If we use remember as a future reminder, then we use the infinitive form. It's the same thing, forget and remember. Is that clear?
Repeat it.
Okay, so again, when I have the verb remember to talk about something that I already did, like in this case that I have a reference of time in the past, last night, I always use a gerund. I clearly remember leaving because I am remembering that, okay, the action. But if I have the verb remember to talk about a future reminder, then I would use, in that case, leave. To leave. Okay, to leave. Yeah, because that is, I use the infinitive form every time I am using a future reminder or to make a future reminder or to state a future reminder. I use the infinitive form, something similar to forget. Okay? The only difference is that when I use forget with a gerund, normally forget is in the past tense. But in the case of remember, I don't need to put it in the past tense because remember, normally in this context, it's something already in the past, okay? I am remembering something. I don't need to use remembered, okay?
So at the end, what is the answer?
The answer is living. I clearly remember leaving them on the table last night. Okay? Let's continue. Okay. Let's see if that was clear enough. So, number 7. I will never forget blank space Messi scoring. Let me change this. Scoring that goal. I will never forget Messi scoring that goal. So we have four options: seen, to see to seen. Which one is the correct answer?
According to the past example, is seen.
Okay, so Othoniel says seen, and that is correct because I am saying that I will never forget, which means it's something that I already seen. Okay, it's not a future reminder, it's a past action. Okay, so I will never forget seeing Messi scoring that goal. I already saw Messi doing that, so it's a past situation. Okay, and last, I am used to blank space at night nowadays. We have four options: working, work, worked, none. Tell me, Nehemiah, which one do you think is the correct one?
I am used to working at night nowadays.
Okay. Everyone agrees with Nehemiah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very well. So that is the correct answer. I just put here this one as a bait to see if anyone fell in it, because we already saw this one, and you need to remember that when we have the verb to be alongside used to, the verb is in a gerund form because this is a form of continuous tense. Okay, it's something that you are already used to. Okay, you're already used to. So normally after used to, if before the used to you have the verb to be, here you need to use a gerund form. So that's it, guys. This is really important. I try to explain with this things that you may find in your test and things that you need to remember. These are tricky things because these topics normally are not in the top of our mind. We just get used to it. We get used to using would you mind eating, and we just know that we have heard that like that, and sometimes we are right, but sometimes we are wrong, and we need to know, at least that's my case, I like to know why one is right and why the other is incorrect or wrong. So I try to, the purpose of bringing this was that to put you into a test, simple test about things that we normally ignore and that we should know, because in English level tests, you always find things like this. And the good thing about this is that they use the most common expressions in English followed by a gerund, okay? So this is all recorded. You can visit this as many times as you need to practice and to remember, because some of these sentences might be exactly like that in your test, and every point matters. Every point matters. Okay? If you have no more questions about this topic, let's divide our last topic, our last class, with our last topics, because remember that next Tuesday you will have your simulation English level test next Tuesday. So for our last class on Thursday, we have wishes and regrets. I wish if only. The person responsible of this one, wishes and regrets, is going to explain also the difference between wish versus hope, because you have something like this in your test. Somebody else is going to explain future perfect, and I will explain common expressions using little, and also last of my worries versus least of my worries, because these two expressions are commonly confused between non-native speakers. So, who is going to take the first topic, wishes and regrets? It's an interesting topic, wish. You have to deal with all of the possible forms of wish, you know, past tense, could, would, past perfect. Anyone? Nehemiah?
I will take the future perfect.
Okay, so Daniel is going to take future perfect. Nehemiah's, would you like to take
Wish and hope. Yes, versus hope. Yes.
wishes and regrets, and also wish and hope because it's a little topic, wish and hope.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Can you,
Perfect.
would you like to do that? This will be your last
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah, yes, teacher, yes. Yes, of course. It could be an honor.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Nehemiah. So Nehemiah is going to present to us wishes and regrets, wish and if only, because both
Okay.
are in your test, wish and if only. And he's also going to explain when we use hope and when we use wish. What is the difference between one and the other?
Okay, okay.
And Othaniel is going to explain to us future perfect. Future perfect. And then I will finish with some expression that I use little that might not sound natural, maybe to non speakers, but they are correct and natural for them. And some, what is the other topic? Last of my worries and least of my worries. When we use last and when we use least, I will bring that one too. So, guys, if you have no further questions, that will be all for tonight. So, I will see you again on Thursday. So, keep studying, keep practicing, and see you on Thursday at 9 p.m. Good night. Goodbye.
Good night, teacher. Good night, friends.